Good afternoon. The time is 4:29 p.m. on Monday, November 20th, 2023. I'd like to call to order the November meeting of the Norwalk Board of Police Commissioners. We have a quorum with Commissioner Frank Collier Clemens, Commissioner Tony Lopez. First item on the agenda, approval of minutes from October 16th, 2023. Do I have a motion?
I move approval of minutes.
Okay, any corrections, deletions, or omissions?
I have none.
Okay. Any comments or discussion? Seeing none, all in favor of approval of the minutes as submitted? Hello?
Oh, I'm sorry. I was out. Bring me back in, please.
All in favor of the approval of the minutes as submitted?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, there we go. Motion carries. Next item on the agenda is a recognition. Chief?
Yes, Mayor Rilling. It's a civilian award presentation to Russell LaJoy, Molly Mayu, Maria Jodice, Maria Ebner, Rachel Mallet, and Jody Proct. On October 22nd, 2023, a tragic boat accident occurred in the waters off Westport, Connecticut. A vessel with 5 passengers inside fishing for the day capsized due to a wave that overcame their boat, forcing all the parties into the water. Several hours later, an alert boater, Russell LaJoy, spotted the parties in the water near Cantu behind Kakini Island as he was returning to Norwalk Harbor. He immediately stopped and was able to gather them onto his boat with the assistance of Molly, Maria Ebner, Rachel, and Jody. The parties who were suffering from exposure to the cold water were swiftly transported back to the South Norwalk Boat Club and provided warmth in the cabin of LaJoy's boat. As they were being transported, emergency services was contacted via 911 and were waiting for them at the dock as they arrived at the South Norwalk Boat Club. 2 missing parties who were not rescued that day were later found deceased several days later, and several weeks later. Both were presumed dead and identified from this accident. If not for the alert and life-saving efforts of Russell LaJoy, Rachel, Maria, Jody, and Maria, this entire incident would have been much more tragic for the victims that they saved that day. Due to their heroic efforts, I am recommending a civilian recognition award to be presented to them at the next police commission. As we all saw in the newspaper on Channel 12, it was a tragic event for those people that were out fishing that day, and they were in the water for several hours before they were saved. They were lucky that they had been in the water for 4 to 5 hours and they were suffering from hypothermia. Even though it was a late fall day, the water temperature was getting colder, and one of the parties was actually clinging onto the can. So the timing was right, and thank God that they saw them on that day while they were returning to the harbor, and they all did a great job. Not only collecting them onto the boat, but also notifying 911 and having the emergency services waiting for them at the dock.
Yeah, I read the report when it came in. I also read the article in the newspaper. You guys and gals did an amazing job. The people that were rescued were very fortunate. Unfortunate, 2 of them couldn't be rescued and couldn't be found, but spending all that time in the water is certainly traumatic. And as the chief was saying, the water temperature was dropping. You get exposed to the water for that period of time. You guys are real heroes in our books, and we really truly appreciate the fact that you extended yourself. Oftentimes you find a situation where people tend to not want to get involved, but you all did a great job, and we truly appreciate that. And I'll let the other commissioners comment as well.
Yeah, I still want to commend such a heroic effort. I thank you. Again, as the mayor indicated, it was a real close call, and yes, it wasn't all 100% perfect, but we know that you did what you thought you needed to do, and we can't thank you enough for that.
Yes, thank you so much for your heroism. I know when you learn how to swim and life save and all of that, you never think that the opportunity or the time is going to come for you to use it. But you did not hesitate. You put your lives at risk, but in the same time, you saved lives. And so I congratulate each one of you for your heroism and your courage.
Absolutely. And I don't know if the department has any further comments, Deputy Chief Blake or Lepore or Dinho.
Yeah, just to mirror what everyone else said, it was exceptional that they located these individuals and were able to bring them to safety. We can't thank you guys enough, and certainly you are you are heroes. Thank you.
Mayor, we're going to have a presentation at headquarters. I'm going to email Russell and have him come to headquarters, and we'll make an official presentation of their awards. If we can,
Yeah, that'll be nice.
Coordinate everybody's schedules.
That'll be nice. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're
Yeah,
welcome.
it seems kind of informal to do it on a Zoom meeting, but we'll make it a little bit more formal.
But the sentiments are still there.
Thank
Well,
you.
thank you again for what you did. Okay, next item is Officer of the Month, Chief.
Yes, Mayor. Honored to inform that Officer of the Month for October 2023 was awarded to Officer David Vitier, Officer of the Month for the full pursuit and apprehension of a robbery suspect after the suspect had crashed his car in Rowayton following a pursuit from the state of New York. On October 18, 2023, at approximately 12:01, combined dispatch sent units to the Darien town line due to the fact that New York State Police were in pursuit of robbery suspects and were traveling northbound on 95. Eventually, the suspect vehicle exited 95 and Darien and entered Norwalk while still being pursued by the Connecticut State Police and the Darien Police. Before Norwalk police units arrived on scene, the suspect vehicle crashed on Ridgewood Road and the operator fled on foot. 3 other subjects were taken into custody by the state and Darien Police on Ridgewood. Norwalk police units were assigned to maintain a perimeter and began to search the area for the suspect who fled on foot. Officer Vitier was assigned to respond to Rowton School. Officer Vitier drove the Crooked Trail so that he could take a position at the rear of the school. As Officer Vitier was approaching the rear of the school, he observed the subject matching the suspect description running towards the school, which was occupied at the time. Officer Vitier chased the wanted suspect on foot as he provided verbal commands to stop running. Eventually, the suspect heeded Officer Vitier's command, stopped, and surrendered. Officer Vitier took the suspect into custody without incident before other police units arrived to assist with no use of force. I wholeheartedly concur with Sergeant Tom Fern's nomination with Officer Vitier's nomination of October 2023 Officer of the Month. Due to his bravery and dedication, he apprehended a fleeing robbery suspect who evaded authorities for several miles in pursuit and was eventually captured due to his efforts. Officer Vitier is the community policing officer in Rowayton, and when sent to the school, he knew to take a position in an area behind the school on another road, which gave him a vantage point. So he used his knowledge and expertise in that area to do a great job that day.
Sounds like a well-coordinated effort. And again, we're always pleased when something like this ends in success with no injuries to the officer, no injuries to the person being pursued or apprehended. And again, congratulations to Officer Vitier. And again, knowing exactly where he should set up. I mean, those are things you can't teach anybody. They have to have that innate sense and they have to know their own area. And he apparently did. So.
Yeah, congratulations to Officer Vitier for knowing, doing, and being at the right place at the right time.
Okay.
I too want to commend Officer Vitier for a job well done, and we appreciate, that he was able to have a favorable outcome there with this situation. So he definitely deserves the nomination for Office of the Month.
Yeah. Very good. Okay, operations report, Deputy Chief Blake.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Commissioners. For October 2023, at the end of the month, we had 180 sworn officers with 2 patrol officer vacancies. 181 sick days were used and 96 workman comp days were used. We still have 3 officers on long-term workman's compensation. Detective Bureau opened 40 cases in October. They made arrests for a domestic violence stabbing and charged the suspect with assault first, risk of injury to a minor, and disorderly conduct. They assisted the Somerset County, New Jersey Prosecutor's Office with the arrest of a suspect wanted for a burglary and sexual assault. And they made an arrest in a stolen car, not your typical stolen car arrest. Larceny first, 22 counts of identity theft and 22 counts of forgery. The individual was stealing cars by under false pretenses, essentially walking out of there with fake IDs and such in order to buy these cars, even though he wasn't actually buying them. 2 commercial burglaries, 2 residential burglaries, 4 motor vehicle burglaries, 2 robberies, 3 larcenies, 2 assaults, no shootings with victims. We had 2 shootings without victims, 5 death investigations. We assisted 8 other agencies, 2 overdose investigations, and 2 sexual assault investigations for the Detective Bureau. Special victims, correction, special services opened up 46 cases in October. They executed a search warrant at 4 Elmcrest Terrace and recovered crack cocaine, and fentanyl, and made an arrest of the individual who was selling drugs from that residence. They executed a search warrant at the Smoke House Vape Shop. This is the second time they've been there. They seized over 1 kilo of marijuana and arrested the clerk. They also seized 5 illegal gambling machines and $20,000 from a business at 133 South Main Street. In the month of October, our Special Victims Unit opened 71 cases. 3/4 of those cases are opened up by the school resource officers. They made an arrest of a suspect via warrant, charging the individual with sexual assault 4th. They also arrested a suspect in 2 domestic violence failure to appears for court. We made 209 arrests in October. Patrol Division handled 6,986 calls. You can see they're broken down. Below that, 2nd Platoon still remains the busiest shift in the police department. On our SE report for the month of October, apologize, it says August up top, but it's October. We issued 844 citations for the month of October, which, as you can see, is well over double the amount that was issued last year. In addition, we issued 141 parking tickets in the month of October. And then you can also note the comparison in significant incidents on the last page.
Okay. Thank you. Sounds like, again, very busy.
Yes.
Was there a special push this month for citations?
We had a 2-week period of cell phone enforcement, but that was it.
Okay. That wasn't by a special grant or anything. That was just
Correct, Commissioner. That was a distracted driving grant that we had that went for about 2 weeks, and then we come back in April of 2024 for the month of April.
Okay, thank you. Next item, Community Police Services Division, Deputy Chief Dinho.
Good afternoon, Mr. Mayor, Commissioners. For the month of October, we had a very busy month for community policing, and the major events were a coffee with a cop at Dave and Charlie's Hometown Deli. They're always very well received, these events. We had a very special Faith in Blue weekend, which will be the first time for our police department participating in this national type of event. And during this weekend, for October 6th through the 9th of October, there were 3 separate Coffee with a Cop locations in addition to the first one that we mentioned. There was a Unity Walk in South Norwalk, which went very well. There were 6 masses held at 6 different houses of worship during this weekend, which were very well attended and well received. And we wrapped it up with a closing breakfast at the Norwalk Inn. Also, the Citizens Police Academy is underway, started underway in October with 6 sessions in October and went into November, and we just finished that up, the Citizens Police Academy, and that's always very well received, and we had a good turnout. Another special event that we had was the City of Norwalk Touch a Truck at the DPW open house. We had a very successful gun buyback and 3 trunk retreats also in the month of October, and the domestic violence vigil at police headquarters. There were several other events, but these were the major highlights. The traffic unit in October, they had a total motor vehicle stop count of 268 with selective enforcement locations around town that are a combination of complaints received from the public for speed enforcement and traffic data information received from the Yukon traffic crash data repository. There were several locations, but the ones we highlighted were Silvermine Avenue, Winfield Street, Wilson Avenue, East Avenue, and West Rocks. The behavioral health unit within community policing opened a total of 71 cases for the month of October. They were able to address 69 of them and closed 51 of them. We received 3 cases referred from outside agencies and 33 cases received from within the police department itself. For the month of October, we were heavily into training, recertification training that happens every year. And also you're able to see that there is some additional TASER training involved there. Thank you very much.
Any questions for Deputy Chief Dinho?
This
Yes,
is a very good report, Deputy Chief Denho.
Thank
Do
you.
we have any update as to when we'll get the software adjusted where we won't have so many pages and we can really, scrutinize the data?
So, Madam Commissioner, this is what the update looks like. It has all the information in it as the previous software. It's just very lengthy. But it does provide in its own way the recorded information. We had asked for the update, and this is what they gave us. It just becomes very lengthy.
Okay. Did you try again?
Of course, ma'am.
Thank you.
Any questions or comments for Deputy Chief Dinho?
I have none.
Good. Nice report.
Thank you.
Next, administrative report, Deputy Chief Lepore.
Good evening, Mayor. Good evening, Commissioners.
Good
For
evening.
For the administrative report for our grants and inspections, we had distracted driving grant that was for the month of October. It was only for 1 month. And then the next award date is for the month of April. So that was completed. We received a DOJ grant for community policing development for our chaplains. And basically that's going to be for any of the chaplains or religious or faith leaders for training. And that includes the clergy leaders, any of the members of their clergy groups or the community members. Basically, this goal for this was to bridge the gap between the police and the community members and make them more comfortable for maybe even going to a faith leader if they weren't comfortable going to a police officer. And then the chaplains would be able to work with us. So this grant funds their instructors, any of the instruments needed, and then also if the clergy, if any members of the clergy want to come out on calls for services, if we had some incidents that we would need them there, they would also provide them a small stipend. We had a DUI grant is in full force. That's going to be going on from Thanksgiving weekend and going all the remainder through the holiday season. And we also have grant hires for Washington Street and the shopping centers for the holiday weekend. Busy. Staff inspections, the Marine unit inspection was completed in October, and we are getting ready to do our property unit inspection. That's in November. And that's one of our larger inspections that we have, where we have to do a significant sampling of our inventory that's in the property room. That includes high value items, anything that's been disposed of, anything like that. So that's a few days for the sampling that's done. Crime scene unit, we had 95 people fingerprinted, 30 were for pistol permits. They created 24 DVDs for cases for court or FOIs. They processed 12 cases for evidence, and they had 107 patrol cases, camera photograph downloads for crime scenes. Professional standards, we finished the upfit of all the dashboard cameras in the new Tahoes that we rolled out. They have 25 requests for FOI body camera videos, and all the old body cameras and the docking stations are all sent back to Axon for recycling. In accreditation, we finished the updates of the directives. Those were all completed, approved, and they were distributed to all the personnel. And then we received our accreditation audit for the schedule for our next year, and that will be in the end of February, but that's going to be electronic. That'll be Power DMS before they come here in their 4th year. That's all.
I have a question regarding the FOI requests of the body cam.
Yes,
Uh, we charged for those, right?
we do. We charge
Okay.
$5 per DVD.
Okay. So I want to make sure.
Yes.
Any other questions for Deputy Chief Lepore?
I just have a question about the property and in the property unit.
Yes.
After you do the evaluation, how long do we keep it? What happens to it?
The property, so there could be a few things that happen with the property, depending on the court case. So we have to keep it until the case is completed. So we can either dispose of it. Sometimes it gets returned to the owner, or sometimes it gets destroyed. Well, usually destroyed or returned to the owner.
Thank you.
Mr. Lopez?
No questions. Thank you.
Okay, that moves us to personnel matters. First item, tuition reimbursement for Officer Benjamin Coast. Somebody want to move that?
I move.
Yes,
Go ahead,
Police
Commissioner.
Commissioner, Officer Coes, who just graduated the Police Academy last month, is requesting a tuition reimbursement. He is pursuing his Master's of Business Administration with a concentration in cybersecurity. He is asking for reimbursement for 4 classes: International Business, Intro to Information and Cybersecurity, Advanced Excel and with Visual Basic and Database Management. Total credits is 8. The total reimbursement is $2,675.36 from the State University of New York at Albany.
Okay. It looks like all the paperwork's in order. Commissioners, any questions?
Yes, he has his receipt and his grades attached, all 3.0. Yes.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Next, we need a motion to approve the tuition reimbursement for Deputy Chief Blake.
I move tuition reimbursement for Deputy Chief Blake.
Yes, reimbursement for 1 course pursuing a bachelor's degree from Sacred Heart University. The course taken was Health Psychology, 3 credits. The total reimbursement is $1,032.50. The grades are attached, and so is the receipt.
Okay, any questions or comments? Seeing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. And next is a bachelor's degree stipend for Deputy Chief Terrence Blake. Chief? Who wants to
Yes.
move that? Who wants to move that?
I'll move the stipend for Deputy Chief Blake.
Okay, Chief?
Yes, with the last class, Deputy Chief Blake has completed his bachelor's degree at Sacred Heart University, effective October 16, 2023, completed the requirements for his bachelor's degree in criminal justice. He's requesting approval to receive the stipend for his degree, which is in the collective bargaining agreement.
Okay, and that'll be effective December 31st or January 1st for next year? Or how do we work that?
I do believe that they'll prorate it effective the next pay period if we notify the comptroller. They work it into your salary. It's not one stipend. It's worked into your weekly paycheck.
Yeah, no, I understand that. It's just that the letter said that the bachelor's degree takes effect on December 31st. It'll be conferred upon him.
Yeah, Mayor, they only do graduations twice a year.
Okay.
So I'm all done. That's what the letter was about.
Okay,
but
so
they will not give it to me.
So effectively, you do have a bachelor's degree right now.
Correct.
Okay.
Let me see the paper.
Let's ask a question on health physio. Any further questions?
I have none there.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Congratulations.
Congratulations. Oh, we both said congratulations.
Yeah,
Thank
you
you.
did that very quickly.
Thank you. Thank you.
Tell your daughter she has nothing on you.
Okay, next item, informational, chief.
Yes, I was going to withdraw this item. This matter has been rectified, both items that were outstanding. One of our authorized records upon an inspection was not fully certified. And they have thus proven then that they have paid all the repair license fees and surety, and they are back in compliance. I got a letter from the state, and there was another matter of overcharging, which they were issued an infraction for, so that issue is still pending to see if there's going to be a finding in court. And I'll bring it back to the commission's attention if there's a finding of guilt. So right now it's still a pending matter.
Right.
So one item was rectified and one item is still pending.
Had they been put on notice that that was unacceptable and that future violations will result in removal?
Yes, they were written a letter, and,
Okay.
and their attorney confirmed that they did receive it. We've been in
Okay.
contact.
Any questions from the commission?
I have none.
Well, I guess that's not within our realm to see if he actually, repaid the money to the victim that he overcharged. I guess that's not within our realm, but it's very disturbing to me that someone that we have given the authority to remove damaged and accident vehicles from the roadway would, intentionally inflict all of those high charges to a person and not allow them to even get their own property out of the car without paying all this exorbitant fee. It's disturbing to me that we're going to allow him to continue.
Well, he is due process, and he is fighting back against some of the charges. So right now it's just an allegation. So if we wanted to act on a preponderance based on our belief, but there are some factors that were ambiguous, shall I say, in regards to his claim and the owner's claim. So there was probable cause for arrest, and we did so. And that's why I was saying we'll see how it shakes out, and to see if there is a finding that, because there's always two sides of the story, because we weren't there when the car was towed away, anything like that. So these are just allegations. So I think it would be fair to provide some due process.
Okay, but we're not using him until everything is settled.
No, we have to use him until he gets removed from the list, and then it's this commission's authority. I refer information based on our directives to the police commission, and it's this police commission's decision to remove him or not.
Well, I thought I saw in the information that he was authorizing another towing company to take his rotation place when his time came up. Is that still in place?
Yeah, our authorized records do that all the time. They swap weeks, they swap dates. If they're on call for a certain time and they can't do it this weekend, they'll ask another authorized record to take their tows. They act as one big conglomerate, always covering for each other if something does happen. So it really wasn't because of that. But we did meet as part of this reorganization since January. We have tightened up the authorized records because we were lacking in some of the information that was required by our directive. And since then, I have tasked an Officer Volts, who knows a lot about our records and the wrecking industry, to spearhead that plan. And he has done it. He's done a great job. So we have all the required paperwork that is needed by directive from each of our authorized records. And in this process, we realized that this one record repair license was expired. So that's why we brought it to the commission's attention. But since then, he has gotten it fixed. So everybody, all of our authorized records right now are in accordance with directive, and we are monitoring their charging fees and any complaints.
So just answer this question. The state has a certain amount that a wrecker is supposed to charge per day for storage. can the individual wrecking company, towing company set their own storage fees?
What they do is sometimes they say if extra things are needed, like things that need to be added to storage with work and moving the car around the yard or things like that, there's always variables, shall I say, that add to the
Okay.
cost of a tow. You know, it's not just as standard as we would think. There's things a la carte that always get added to a bill. You know, work on tires, this, that, they overcharge for everything. It's sort of like it's not just one fee, I'm finding out, and there's a lot of wiggle room and ambiguity.
And profit.
Okay, so you'll keep us updated on the results of
Yes.
that? Okay, and if
Yes,
we
we
have
will.
to take action, we can take it at that time.
Will do.
All right, next item is the complimentary letters.
Yeah, this one's for Sergeant Sherry. And Mary and Miss Jarvis Smith wanted to take a minute to express her thanks for his kind consideration and help when she was there at headquarters on Friday, this past a couple of Fridays ago, to report a fraud. His kindness and that of Officer Spencer, an officer that came on last year, and the experience much easier to handle. Thank you again, and God bless. A second letter for Officer Julio Rodriguez from a Mike Vincelli. Wanted to thank Officer Rodriguez for arranging to instruct the terrorism unit for the basic CERT team, a 20-hour class in Spanish. They would have not been able to complete the class without him stepping up to instruct the terrorism unit in Spanish. Officer Rodriguez received great reviews of his presentation of the unit with the escalation of tensions in the Middle East and escalations of tension in the United States from domestic bad actors. This was very important to the class of 22 students. Please extend our thanks to Officer Rodriguez for his professional presentation.
Good.
That's great.
Yes.
All right, I think that's all that comes before the commission. The next meeting is December 18th, 2023 at 4:15 p.m. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Motion to adjourn at 5:02. All in favor?
Aye.
We are adjourned, everybody. Have a happy Thanksgiving.
Same to you.
Happy
Happy
Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving, everyone.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving.